Hello, dear friends. Here we are for another study of the book Calmness by the Spirit Emmanuel through the blessed mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope that you're having a wonderful, blessed day. And we are blessed today with the opportunity of studying another chapter that is titled by Emmanuel, Peace in Us. And who does not want to have peace inside themselves, in and around us? So, we're going to talk a little bit today about how we can achieve that peaceful moment in accordance with the teachings of Emmanuel. Remember, you can always participate by leaving your comments and your questions. We broadcast live on Thursdays at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we're here for you, so leave us a message. Peace in us, says Emmanuel, quote, peace in us does not result from external circumstances, but from our tranquility of conscience in the duty accomplished. And it's necessary to note that the duty accomplished is the result of understanding. Understanding means, in essence, to excuse the people around us in the oppositions that they make to us and forget the events that shown to be adverse, so that we remain faithful to the task that is indicated to you and I. And I could be done, right? Just by these two small paragraphs, we could just have enough to meditate. So he's saying here, peace in ourselves does not result from external circumstances. Dear friends, are we allowing what is happening around us and what is happening to the people whom we live, whom we are in touch with, the environments where we are existing and we are blessed to have this reincarnation in or at, affecting the peacefulness that you and I can achieve? So he's saying here, peace does not result from external circumstances. But what does peace in ourselves, inner peace, results from? He says, but from our tranquility in our conscience. And that consciousness that is tranquil results in a duty accomplished. What are the duties that you're responsible for in your life? And do we feel that peace of mind of knowing that we are accomplishing the duty that God has given us? He says, and it's necessary to make a note that the duty accomplished is a result of understanding. So peace, not from external, but from our clear conscience, a tranquil conscience that we have accomplished our duties. And the duty that you and I have towards all around us, including all of the other beings of the earth, is a result of understanding. And now, in the second paragraph, he will explain to us what is understanding. He will say understanding means, in essence, to excuse the people around us. If they make oppositions and forget the events that are shown to be adverse to ourselves, so that we can maintain ourselves faithful to the tasks that is indicated or assigned to you and I. So are we being understanding towards the people around us? Are we able and willing to excuse them if they oppose what we are doing? Are we able to forget the events when they're shown to be adverse to you and I? In the last 24 hours, have you been able to forget and forgive those who have hurt you? Because when we perceive ourselves being hurt by someone, we are imprisoned to that feeling. When we perceive their hurtfulness, we end up not forgetting them. When we don't forget and we don't forgive, we are unable to move forward. And then we imprison in our own webs of lack of understanding, right? And he will continue the message by saying, that's Emmanuel now, to quote, do not allow the censorship or criticism of others disturb you in the performance of the obligations that life assigns you. Because if you accept your own commitments in the general good, those commitments concern you and not those who observe you, not always with logic or security. Let's think about this paragraph. It says here, when we are performing the obligations that are assigned to us, be they in our family members, our friends, our loved ones, the work we are granted the opportunity of doing in this lifetime, are we allowing the opinions, censorship, and criticism of others disturb us? And if so, why do we get disturbed when they criticize or censor us? It's a good question for us to think about, right? And then he will say in the second part of this paragraph, quote, because if you accept your own commitments in the general good, those commitments concern you and not those around us. So if you are doing something that is your commitment, facing the laws of God, the commitments you have accepted as part of your reincarnatory plan, and if those commitments concern the general good, they're yours. They're not though from those who observe us, who criticize us, so we shouldn't let them disturb us. Easier said than done, right? But if it goes back to that duty fulfilled in the beginning, where he says the peace comes from the tranquility of conscience, when we are certain that we are accomplishing the duties that we have set forth in the commitments that you and I ultimately are responsible for, in the commitments we've made with God, who is the creator of all things. And we respond to God by allowing ourselves to think about the commitments we have accepted that only you and I can do. Only you can do your commitments, only I can do my commitments. Therefore, we need to think about what are the things that I'm committing to in the general good, because ultimately we are in the law society, so we need to think about everything we do needs to result in the betterment of life for all of humanity, not just our own. Everything that you've committed to, are those things aligned with the divine laws we can find in the third part of the Spirit's book? If so, you can be with clear conscience that your duty is being accomplished. If the things we are accepting that we think it's only I and I alone can do are not aligned with the laws of God, we need to go reread the laws of God and perhaps give up some of those commitments that are not concerning the general good and look for the ones who are. And when we talk about being criticized, we shouldn't let the criticism of others bother us. So if you are spreading the good news of the gospel, if you are finding yourself in an organization that is doing providing services and goods for the betterment of all, we should have our conscience clear. We are distributing food to the homeless. We are reading messages and posting prayers. We are doing fraternal counseling. So we shouldn't let others disturb that, because your commitment is yours alone. They have their commitments. And in terms of the criticism he's talking about, he's going to elaborate and say, quote, in any edifying activity, it's important to remember that ideas and words, actions and attitudes of others belongs to them and not us. So if we have our conscience tranquil and calm and serene, and we are being criticized, their opinions, their ideas and words belong to them and not us. So now, if you are fulfilling the love of God in your life, then whoever is criticizing you, preventing you from doing that, that's their opinions and measures, that's for them. He says here, in order to collaborate in the interest of everyone's good, it's imperative to forget suggestions to selfishness that impel us to falter in the faces of the obligations that life traces on us. So, here is another important message. You and I are here on this planet in order to better improve ourselves while making life better for everyone else. So if I consider doing things only for myself, my family, my things, then I have to reevaluate, because not necessarily that results in the interests of everyone's, the good for everyone. Therefore, we need to forget when we get suggested by others to incur in selfishness, when I'm thinking only about my things, my interests. So when we keep using the pronoun mine, mine, I, my family, my work, my career, then that's when we need to think about our suggestions to incur in selfishness, impelling us to falter, to not be able to fulfill the duties we came here for. Because we have obligations. At the same time, we're improving our own lives. We have obligations towards all life around us. We have obligations to those who came before us. We have obligations to the generations that will come after us, which maybe will be part of those generations as well, due to the law of reincarnation. Hopefully our vibratory attunement with the earth that is changing towards goodness will allow us to return to make amends and improve the life of all. So we should reevaluate if I'm using this lifetime in order to just help myself, or if I'm able to collaborate so that everyone can benefit from my existence on this planet. Now, what happens if things seems to be going against our interest, and they're difficult? He's going to address that as well by saying, quote, even if all the external elements prove to be contrary to your action, it is perfectly possible to keep your own serenity as long as you know how to understand people and situations, leaving them where they stand and moving forward with the work that is yours. Even if you're trying to do the good, and everything around the external elements prove to be contrary to what you're doing, he's saying you can still keep your own serenity. It goes back to the beginning when he says peace in us does not result from external circumstances. It ties with this in the sense that even if I have that clear conscience, tranquil conscience, because I know I'm fulfilling the duty that I came here to do, it does not matter what is happening around you. He says, it is perfectly possible to keep your own serenity as long as you know how to understand people and situations. So if we do the understanding in the beginning, which is to forget and forgive them for the faults that they're incurring, therefore we can leave them where they stand. If they are still standing in ignorance, if they are unable to see that this life is more than just fulfilling the physical extraneous external needs that we have, if they're unable to perceive the importance of working towards everyone's good, we leave them where we stand. We move forward with the work that is ours. So we need to be mindful to be able to realize through meditation, through prayer, through reflection, through reading, and nourishing your spirit with this content. Am I fulfilling what I came here to do? Or am I being selfish to the point that I falter when it comes to fulfill the obligations that have been given to me by God? And once we reflect and meditate on those topics, and we realize that perhaps our path is not aligned with God's law, that's okay. We're not here to shame. We're not here to find ourselves in guilt. We are here to promote and encourage self-awareness. So once you know where you are, you can trace with of a community the path that is in alignment with God. What do I mean? So if I know that I need to work in being patient towards others, if I know I have felt hurt by others, then I work on forgiving them. If I have some physical needs that need to be addressed, then I work in the community of the medical community. And I hear science and medicine, I use them to my benefit because we still have a physical body to take care of. So the physical resources is what I mean by community. Then I find that I am having a hard time dealing with certain people in my life and shielding myself from their criticism. Then I remember that Emmanuel told me that it's okay. We leave them where they stand, we forgive and we forget, and then I bring myself to persist in goodness. Perhaps I have trauma that I need to work on from this lifetime, and I go see a psychologist. Perhaps I need to get spiritual nourishment. Then I listen to programs such as this one, and I buy the Spiritist books and I read them. And then also, if I need fraternal assistance, I search for my Spiritist center closest to me. And if I want to really truly work towards the benefit of everyone, I make time every month so that myself, and if I have a family, my family, can go and serve others. Because when we volunteer our time, we are aligning with the good spirits and we're bringing to the places of need, be them working with the elderly, working with orphans and children in foster care, maybe it working with homeless. Those are peoples at the margin. Whatever your call is, when you serve, when you take 1 hour of your time once a month, once a week, to go towards those who suffer, you are in alignment with the good spirits who want to bring comfort and consolation. And also, we teach ourselves to be of use to all. We teach ourselves to be less selfish, to take time from my own activities to serve other people. And I'm teaching those who come with me, be them my relatives or my family, then we all make an effort as a collective to serve others because there's so much need right now, and the need is explicit. The need is there. With the advent of multimedia modalities, all the time we're bombarded with need. We shouldn't be numb to those needs. We should try and be of service to everyone. Now he will finish this, and I'm going to leave us with his words for us to reflect. He says here, peace in us, let us repeat, is born from understanding and service. And understanding and service is maintaining by tolerance of others' mistake, and even by the self-acceptance of our own mistakes, so that we know how to correct them without turmoil or wasting of time. In short, as long as we do not know how to forgive, we will not be free to submit to the practice of the good according to the laws of God. So, dear friends, thank you so very much for joining me on this morning, and I hope that you will feel inspired to seek the calmness that our hearts and minds seek at this moment on the earth of the planetary transition. And I hope that you look for opportunities of service near and far so that we can be all together allowing ourselves to be a beacon of light everywhere we go. And then I will, God willing, I hope to be back with you for another episode or next time, hopefully next week. Until then, the invitation to seek inner peace is for us to look for opportunities of service. Until we see each other again, with the grace of God, stay well, stay safe, take care of yourself, and if you can, take care of someone else as well. Have a blessed day. I'll see you soon.